So I learned something new today. How many developers do you actually think there are in the world? I didn't have a really good idea for this, but I didn't think that it was going to be 18 million, which is about the same size as the state of New York or Greece and Switzerland combined. That's honestly way more than I thought, though I don't really know what I thought, to be honest about it. They put out about $1 trillion worth of global GDP every year, which is kind of crazy as well. And they also somehow managed to waste around 300 to 400 billion dollars a year. So it's one of the good reasons why there's a lot of people focused on developer experience right now. In roughly half of the organizations that are out there, 30 to 40% of the time spent isn't on actually developing software. It's on dealing with all of the other nonsense that's going on inside the organization. That's a day and a half to 2 days every week you're spending not really getting anything done that's of all that much importance. It's one of the reasons why there's such a big push for developer experience right now. So with it being such a big priority, let's talk about 5 ways you might totally screw this up if you're not careful. So the first one's pretty easy, but there just is no easy button. There is an awful lot of people that come and talk to me about this that think that they can make this, they can fix it in a day or a week or a month. It's just going to be something that, oh, I can go buy a tool off the shelf and all of a sudden it's just going to make my developer experience better. Well, that's almost generally not the case. You have just lots of complex tools and processes and all of the other things that are going on inside of your organization that just really grind things to a halt and just make it really difficult. And there's, of course, my new favorite for this year. Just throw Copilot at it. Why not? That'll just solve all the problems. But one of the things they don't think of is that Copilot to me is a really great tool, but in the end, it's kind of a really good typewriter, and it can give you things really quickly, but it doesn't really understand the intricacies of what it is that you're trying to do and being able to help you solve the problems and challenges of your organization. Yeah, it can help you with, some boilerplate code and all these other things, but again, it's not a silver bullet that's really going to just increase productivity by 50%, no matter how much you want it to. Number 2 is really about product thinking, or a lack thereof in a lot of cases. We as technologists really like to focus in on the technology because it's what we really love. But in most cases, poor developer experience has little to do with just needing to stand up another tool. A lot of it has to do with people problems and process problems. And, here's a great example. Maybe you have manual tickets that need to get completed before you can move something into production. Well, that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort, and it takes just a lot of, effort to be able to kind of get all of that completed. And in the end, there's not a lot of value that comes from that you couldn't do through some other type of automated governance. When I think of bringing in a better kind of product mindset, it's really thinking and sitting back and saying, okay, well, what is this process? What's the value this thing is supposed to provide? And how can I rethink and think about it from, building a product or, engineering it in a way that really makes my life and everybody else's life easier, while still getting the value to the organization that you're needing and looking for. And this really kind of leads into the third one, which is, really thinking about things in a new way and not being stuck in the same kind of styles or context that you were in before. Like the example that I brought up on option number 2 with manual tickets. And instead of trying to automate the manual ticket process, why don't you just make the manual tickets go away and come up with some better type of governance through scorecarding, through tools like OPA and gatekeeping and other ways of being able to validate that things are looking the way that they're supposed to before they move into, your overall production environment or whatever kind of stage gates you have that move you through your environment progression. This next one's really about our cultural shift. And while this does align a little bit with the rethinking, this really tends to be more in the leadership kind of levels and saying, well, this is how we've always done it. This is how our processes work. You just need to live inside of this box and try to make it better. And very rarely do I see those types of things work if you're not thinking about giving people ways of being able to solve the problems themselves, giving them the space to be able to do that and the flexibility to be able to do that, and rethinking how maybe your agile processes and giving people time to help reduce tech debt, doing refactoring and all of the things that you need to do to really help enable a better developer experience. You have to do that from a cultural perspective, or what you're going to see is that, oh, well, we're going to go do this project and we're going to, see a little bit of benefit, but in the end, it's just going to start working its way back and, just falling back apart again as time goes by, because it's not a cultural change. It's really just a singular project that you did, and you're just hoping that that's going to, make everything better on the way forward. And then the last one, and this is really my favorite, is you can actually make your developer experience worse. I've seen this before in a bunch of different ways. And it goes back to what I said a little bit before of maybe we just need another tool. Well, you probably don't, but maybe you do. And there's been a big push in 2023 and a little bit before that around developer portals. And about 65% of people are looking to implement a developer portal in 2024. Well, if you're just implementing a developer portal to implement a developer portal, you've now just added another tool, another thing to your overall ecosystem that isn't really going to make anything better if you don't have a good product mindset, you don't understand what the problems you're actually trying to solve, and you're changing your processes to be able to fit into that new way of thinking and being able to give people a path towards a better experience, and then leveraging that tool as an enabler. If you don't really think about these kind of 5 major areas, there's a pretty good chance your developer experience, project, and if you're thinking about it as a project, well, that's probably one of your first problems as well. But if you don't really think about these, your developer experience journey is probably going to fail. And so hope you enjoyed this. Let us know what you think down in the comments, and we'll see you on the next one.